Hi, everybody. My name is Reverend Mykal Slack, and I'm the Community Minister for Worship and Spiritual Care for Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism. I'm a black trans man with shoulder-length brown locks, and who is wearing a brown, thin-framed glasses and a black sweater. I use he/him pronouns. I'm happy to share just a few reflections with you today about covenant. So much of our foundation as Unitarian Universalists in a faith that is supposed to be grounded in relationship centers around covenant. This idea that we have all made choices about being here together and that we are prepared to make certain agreements about how we are going to be in the spaces where we gather. I really do like the idea of covenant because I believe it always has the potential to be a deeply grounding and caring exercise in relationship building. Covenants are also deeply complex in ways, because embedded within them are all the biases and social contexts that can impact what our deepest hopes and dreams are for ourselves and for one another. We show up as we are, after all, and with that, all of the various conceptualizations of freedom and justice that absolutely do impact our approach to the commitments we make and to what we believe is possible. If Black folks or Latinx trans folks or queer disabled folks or whoever considers being a part of our congregations, we may have particular hopes, perhaps even expectations, that no harm will be done to us in those settings. Hopes and expectations that are reasonable and that are a direct result of how we have been treated out in the world and even in our faith communities because of racism, transphobia, ableism, and homophobia. If you covenant with me to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, that we will help one another, then tending to those things in our communities is a necessary aspect of those covenants, whether or not it's written down on the page or shows up on a website. Not because of how you happen to feel about anyone in particular, but because our Unitarian Universalism calls us into a commitment to value the whole person, inspired to deepen our understanding of the ones we're sitting next to and to expand our vision of what's possible in community, particularly with folks who haven't even arrived yet and without doing harm. Perhaps the real question to be reckoned with is not how we covenant with one another better. I believe the real question is, how do we get clear enough about what our Unitarian Universalism collectively and individually requires of us, such that we covenant with deeper integrity? What can a Unitarian Universalism that centers love, justice, and liberation tell us about the risks worth taking to become the life-giving, life-saving experience of community care and accountability that we know it can be? What would a Unitarian Universalism deep in our skin and bones mean for how we move around in the world and how we attend to relationships, regardless of common experience or understanding? Maybe it means a daily recommitment to the challenge and the promise of connection, care, and love, even if it happens to be unfamiliar or inconvenient or uncomfortable. What I'm talking about here is an acknowledgement that covenants with and among our people have to begin with a covenant with Unitarian Universalism itself. Our covenants are experiences that are meant to help our Unitarian Universalism come alive in fresh and new ways. They are ritual and spiritual practice. Covenants invite us into generative and transformative moments that are meant to grow us in our faith. And if we're really paying attention, and being attentive to what has the power to continually move us to be better humans in our communities and out in the world, we are not only going to shift and change our covenants to match who we say we want to be, our covenants are going to shift and change us. May it be so.